Hello there, great person. Good to see you back with Dune finally. I'm sorry I did not do that much Dune content because I was caught up in so much other stuff like the Wheel of Time TV show. Then we had Foundation. Then I'm still doing a bit of solo leveling. Gonna do that this week as well. I had to write some stories. Well, I didn't have to, but I did because I felt like it, and I planned a lot there for later this year. And yeah, so but now I'm back with Dune, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read Children of Dune here. So I'm not gonna put it on the screen or so, but yeah, I want to try reading something live. So what I'm gonna do is I will read the prologue of Children of Dune, and I know it's flipped because I flipped my camera, but and I've read the prologue, so the Stilgar bit, but it has been, I think, 2 months now, and I want to read it again, and I also want to try out if this even works. So I'm gonna do it this way. I'm gonna read it, and the parts where I think this is you should just or I should discuss this right now, I will just discuss them, and so I will cut a bit, and then in the end I will give you my thoughts on the chapter. And I will probably do it chapter by chapter. And I'm also gonna do Wheel of Time starting 17th of January or 18th, 17th. I have to celebrate a bit on the evening because it's my birthday. But I will get Wheel of Time book. I will do that as well, and I will read these two. I also got a recommendation from my brother-in-law, and he's a very great person. And I was at his flat, and him and his soon-to-be wife and his little son, and we had a good time for the last five days. So that's why I wasn't here. So we had some family time, and yeah, he recommended the Neil Gaiman Sandman graphic novels. So if you think I should read them here as well, I could put some pictures on the screen then, because he said that's very well written and I trust him a lot. So yeah, and if you're watching the show, it's to you. But yeah, so I will now start reading Children of Dune, and let's just see. I will just try it out. So if you have suggestions, or if you think things don't work out the way they should, or it's an experiment here. So just give me your feedback. And also, if you're a Wheel of Time person and don't like Dune or have never read Dune, yeah, feel free to comment as well on what I might improve or what works, or. So yeah, let's just get into this. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I love Dune. I haven't read Dune now in a while, and yeah, I will of course do a review still after I've read it. So, but then you know where my thoughts are coming from. So we will start now with Children of Dune by Frank Herbert, and it's gonna be prologue. It's not called that, but I call it that because it's the first chapter. Okay, so let's go. So, oh yeah, this might be fun actually. I will read these little story things here, because they are like they foreshadow stuff. So I will read them aloud, and I will just give my thoughts. So this one's I don't know. Let's see. Muad'Dib's teachings have become the playground of scholastics, of the superstitious and the corrupt. He taught a balanced way of life, a philosophy with which a human can meet problems arising from an ever-changing universe. He said humankind is still evolving in a process which will never end. He said this evolution moves on changing principles which are known only to eternity. How can corrupted reasoning play with such an essence? By words of the mentored Duncan, oh, Idaho. Okay, so this is a comment of Duncan about Paul, and this is already a lot, so I will get into this again. Okay, so I mean, we know Paul went into the desert, is now gone, and his teachings apparently still remain. And his teachings were, I don't know if they were good, but they were at least the best Paul could hope to teach. It was he did it in good faith. And he was a person who, in the end, was a good person. He was struggling with his fate, and terrible stuff was done in his name and under his order. But in the end, I mean, he pulled through, and he was good in the end. He did good, I think, and yeah, he did. So this seems to be This is funny. So he taught a balanced way of life and stuff like that. Yeah, he did. So he tried the best, and also I find this interesting. So, um, in with which a human can meet problems arising from an ever-changing universe, because that's right, and it's even stuff about evolution here. So there's actually already so much stuff to talk about, and yeah, I mean it's like, yeah, you have to adapt. That's what you have to do. That's all you do in your life, adapting to new situations. And sometimes there are small changes, like when you go to work every morning and suddenly, I don't know, there is this construction site on the road and you have to, I don't know, drive around it. That's a small adjustment to the problem of the universe. There might be big problems of the universe, like your mother getting sick, or your child getting sick, or your job being in peril, or whatever. Those are the big things. And the changes of the universe, so to speak, and the problems arising from that, that's what you have to deal with. And it's quite interesting that they say that Paul tried to teach adaptation and evolution, so not standing still, just evolving, this progressive thought. And I really like that a lot. And yeah, he said this evolution moves on changing principles which are known only to eternity. So no one knows why. It's even like the meaning of life in a way. I mean, why does stuff happen? And why do we grapple with it? And why do we try to change it? And why are we, trying to move on? And why don't we just, I don't know, it's not normally in people to just give up. You always try, and many people seek challenges, and I really like that. So why is that? No one knows. But yeah. Yeah, and now then the last thing, how can corrupted reasoning play with such an essence? That as well, wow, now that I think about it, that's pretty deep as well, because that's the thing, and this might be too much of a tangent, and this might be going too much out of the window and not be intended here, but I think for me this means, so I can only tell you what this means for me, or to me, because you know me, I always tell you things I think and not what are, I never say stuff like this is the way it is because I say so, also, that's stupid. It's just how I see it. And I see it as there are so many profound ideas in the world, and you have, like, let's do the thing that they probably will allude to here, beliefs. There are many cultures that have belief systems like Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, stuff like that, and they have their religion, and religion is complex and it shows good and bad and stuff like that, and people take that and corrupt it. Like extremists, they take it and corrupt it. And this question, how can corrupted reasoning, that is it. Reasoning that is corrupted is reasoning that is one-sided in my mind. So yeah, that's interesting. So that was the first paragraph what I got from this. So it's like after he went away, it seems to be that there were some problems arising from his teachings because people corrupt them. Let's see what happens. I mean, I know what happens in this chapter, but it's probably also for the whole book. So now I will read now. This is interesting. So we are currently at Stilgar. He's moving into the room, and they talk about him, and they say that he will be that he's the guardian of the orphan twins. The two children, of course. And they say here, who would one day take up the mantle of the father Paul more deep? And I really wonder, so are they a double regency? Like I don't know, a Gemini regency, whatever. Two people on the throne, both equally in power. That would be so interesting. That I've never actually seen that done in a fantasy universe. I mean, we see councils where there are more than one member, or we've seen emperors, kings, whatever. That is very interesting. Just yeah. Yeah, this is interesting as well. So he's looking at the children, thinking about them, and he does not see them as just two babies, and that's also a very profound thing. I like that. So I love Herbert's writing style. So it says here, when he looks at them, what he sees is the divine authenticity of Muad'Dib's religious bequest. And these twins lead to his sister Ganima, an awesome power focused. While they lived, Muad'Dib, though dead, lived in them. So they are not children. No, children, I mean, things are never things. They are things that could be done with them or that could grow from them. And these two kids, there's so much power in them. And although there are just two babies there, and Stilgar is such a badass, he's there and he's like, he even says, "I'm an old fool" and stuff like that. He said that before. So it's so interesting how different you act when you think something could be so much in the future. I love that. That's it's like, I don't know if you have ever had this feeling like I don't know, it's like, it's like if you it was the way, like when I gave my PhD thesis talk, you have to defend it, and I talked about my research. I was not just talking stuff and words. I talked about what it could be one day, and that's what they asked as well. Like, why should we care about your research? And then you have to say what is in it, and people also might feel there. Or another example is like, when you it's completely different. But when you get marked and they mark you with a toy gun and you don't realize it, it's not a toy gun. What you see in the toy gun, and what you think could happen with it. So powerful what things that you think could happen from things can do to you. It's very nice. Yeah, and it's going on here. These were not merely 9-year-old children. They were a natural force, objects of veneration and fear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like they are so much more. I like that. That's such a good passage. Yeah, and this as well. When I read stuff live without knowing it, this would have been something I would be shocked at. Where he thinks, yeah, you can still just stab them. Just stab the children. If you think they're bad, you shouldn't be there. And Muad'Dib's legacy, and he just said, thought of the destruction and that it marked every planet and scarred every planet. And he said, yeah, they could just like take their water and give it back to the earth with 2 steps of a knife. Could do that. Could, but you don't do it. And that's such an effed up scene, yeah. Yeah, and this as well. Still, the guy then thinks of the consequences, and he thinks, if my knife liberated all of those people that are influenced by Poland, would they make a messiah out of me? It's like this idea of the savior. Who is the savior? And is the savior the person itself, or what do you think the person could do? Again, this thing of what do you think about it, and not what is it? So great. Yeah, what have we done to our universe? So Stilgar is in this chapter. I love that he's so like, what did we even do? What was that? Why did we do that? Are we stupid? It's I like that. It's not like, yeah, things happen. No, it's not like that. He thinks about it. He's a real character because I love Stilgar. We love Stilgar, probably. He's a nice character. I love him. And he's thinking about consequences so much here in this chapter. I love that. And you really get to, this is the first time we really get to look into his head. Yeah, and this as well, that he thinks that he should go back to the old ways, and he thinks back to before Paul came, that he was just a normal chieftain, just a normal leader of a siege, and then everything went, where it went. Yeah, and this as well. This is my favorite part of the chapter, I think. This, and I will read it out, and I hope you don't mind. Warren dwellers no longer maintained the tidewater discipline of the old days. Why should they, when rain had been recorded on this planet, when clouds were seen, when 8 Fremen had been inundated and killed by a flash flood in a wadi? Until that event, the word drowned had not existed in the language of Dune. But this was no longer Dune, this was Arrakis, and it was the morning of an eventful day. Yeah, this idea that they did not have that word, drowned, and as in the last book as well, my favorite part of the last book of Messiah, when the one guy talks about the Fremen veteran, he talks about the fight on this beach, and that he went into the water, and it was so strange having water around you. And this as well. So Dune itself was changed, and the Fremen dream comes to fruition slowly. So they start to get water, and they actually drowned. So their dream is not only peaceful and not only great. It's also there is this force in it, and yeah, I mean it's progress, but also if you get something new that's great, there are things that are bad that come with it automatically with everything. Nothing is good or evil, if I may use these a bit, yeah, a bit, yeah, antiquated words there, but it's like it's not good or evil. It's like both. And if you think something is purely good, you are probably wrong. At least that is my experience. If I think something is purely good, and even if it's like that there are small things that are getting worse, but you think that doesn't matter. It's so much good here, but there are these things that are bad, that have gotten worse, and it's perhaps it's not bad. Perhaps it doesn't matter, but they are there. It's you just say, yeah, okay, but I've got so much good now, and I think that's a powerful thing. But it's there. It's not like the Fremen dream is not like perfect. And even though it starts to come through, not perfect. It has a slight dark side, and I really, really wonder whether we see this dark side of the Fremen dream here grow. I don't know yet. I mean, if I've only read the chapter I'm rereading currently, so. Oh yeah, and now Jessica comes back, which I like. She was in the last book. I was sad there. Perhaps Gurney is gonna come back with her. I would like that. I like Gurney a lot. I just read this. But now he thought about Leod Kynes, the planetologist who at first dreamed of Prince William, and then it says, Leod Kynes had been Shani's father, and I thought I wasn't he a woman because of the movie. So strange. It's just so strange, but yeah. Yeah. I like that Leod Kynes is Shani's father. I don't remember it being brought up in Dune. I think it was brought up, but correct me if I'm wrong, but here it is so blatantly said. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's also so weird. They had so he's talking about the children. They're not children, he says. They had eaten melange, had shared in the siege orgy. What? They're 9. What were you doing, guys? It's so great. What? Why are the children doing this? Oh god. Yeah, and born with the totality of genetic memory. I don't know how much of that is a thing, genetic memory. I know that there are hints that in the genetic memory of every human being, there's the memory of a tree. I think there are pretty robust studies showing that, but yeah. Oh yeah, and Alia, yeah, Alia. Alia is probably the boss now of Arrakis. I really like Alia. I hope we get more great grains of Alia. Yeah, and this as well. It really it solidifies again that those two children, what are they called? Leto and Hamina. The girl that they had awakened as well. That's so eerie. This awakening in the womb stuff. Who are you exactly? And they have eaten spice. Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, give it to children, whatever. Why? I mean, yeah, I know why. It's their culture. It's their culture, but it's so dangerous because they know what it does. So yeah, this as well. It says that the Bene Gesserit, when they bred them, that they did not um what yeah, here, but nowhere in the sisterhood's plans had they allowed for melange, and they called it abomination. So melange seems to be, even though, why aren't they using it as well to see or to get their powers? So yeah. Yeah, and this as well. So Leto had shown memories from Paul. So Paul is inside him. Yeah, and this as well. Well, he's wondering whether the ancestors that Leto can see and speak or experience have danger in them. And they probably have. I mean, if we think back to Paul's grandfather with the bull, the stuff, That wasn't very wise, and that was um, hubris. That's dangerous for a leader. Hubris is so dangerous for a leader. Yeah. And it's not the children's fault, he says it here, and it's a beautiful metaphor here. They were merely the lens through which light poured to reveal new shapes in the universe. So they are just tools, but more complex than that. Yeah, this as well. His knife, if it brought the deaths of the twins, would only reverberate against that void, weaving new complexities to echo through human history. It's like in Wheel of Time, the weaves, the pattern. You know, it's here as well. It's this pattern in the universe, and he could like cut two or three strings from the pattern of fate, but it would just warp into different strange things. I like that. This is so greatly written. Yeah, and this is why Stilgar's a great character. So he decides not to kill them, and he says because he's loyal. He's loyal. That's his virtue. It's his one old virtue. So he thinks of himself that that's the only thing he's very good at, and that which makes him valuable as a person, as a man, not being a leader, but being loyal and to his people. So he was a good leader, but yeah. No more dreams. Yeah. So that was it. When I first read this, I was very smitten by it. It's so complex. I mean, it's like when you write a book and it's the third part, there is this problem you have, and the problem is, are you gonna just, I don't know, do what you've always done? Like, are you gonna introduce everything again? Or are you just gonna gloss over it because you think, yeah, I mean, it's the third part, everyone knows this by now. You know, that's so hard. I liked it in Harry Potter as well. So Joanne K. Rowling had a great talent for, reintroducing you into the world with some, reminders of what had happened. I never needed them because I'm such a Harry Potter fan, but she did it greatly. And when I wrote my books, it was very hard because the second book I wrote, my second fantasy novel, it started like it was a new story, but it was the same story, but I had to reintroduce several concepts again. And there were quite a lot of concepts in the first book as well. So I had to retell them. So hard to do. I really struggled with that. And he does it so well here. Such a great, so it tells you a lot of what happened. And if you read the other two books, and I mean, let's say, when did this come out? I mean, when did you come out? Great book. 1976. So there were some years between. Yeah. So it was not like you had two books and then you waited for this one and then you read it, but you might have not reread the books. I mean, not everyone is mad as we are. Because I reread every book when the new one comes out. When Harry Potter came out, I reread the whole others. It was very fun, and I knew everything about Harry Potter, and it's not for everyone, rereading stuff. So he had to be sure that people remembered it, even though they did not reread. And I like that. Like he tells about the Bene Gesserit, about Muad'Dib, about the genetic memory, that about Liet, so he might be important, that he was the father of Shani. And that's so good. And also it is a philosophical chapter. It's about this, what are the baby, or I mean, they're not babies, I call them babies, I'm sorry, but are the children or are they potential rulers? How do you have to behave in their presence and when they're around and when they exist? What are they exactly? And that's what he thinks about. And also that Muad'Dib's presence and actions and who he is left a mark on everyone, good or bad. And he wanted it to be good, but he caused bad as well. And and he knows that fate is still running around him and everything, and fate is gonna lead them. And let's see where it goes. So, but he's loyal. He decided to be loyal to the twins and to Alia probably, but not to the mother. but he is, and they are Fremen, because the one or two sentences that told us about that they already had orgies. Well, but so they are Fremen. They're in their culture. They are behaving like Fremen. They're living in a siege in Siege Tabor. Yeah, I think it was Siege Tabor even. So yeah, great start. Let's see where it goes. I have no clue what will happen next, but I can't wait to find out. And yeah, like I said, this was it. So let me know how this was. I mean, I skipped through some parts because I read it already, but I stopped at the important parts and read them. And I will like perhaps tell you more where I am exactly when I read this the things I have not read before. But yeah, let me know how you thought this was, or if you said this was boring. I mean, you don't have to watch this. I mean, it's just some fun stuff for people who want to see me read the stuff. So anyway, if you like this, consider liking, and if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And yeah, I hope you have a great year. I hope everything is gonna turn out the way you want it. And yeah, see you soon for the next chapter. Maybe for the Melody Sheep video is gonna come out this week. Maybe for solo leveling. Maybe for Wheel of Time. I don't know. But see you soon, hopefully. Bye.